Tatapadeham Sri Guru Sri Juta Padakamalam.
So, today is birth appearance ceremony of Lord Krishna. In the Bhagavad-gītā, the Lord says, Janma karmam me divyam jujanati tattata tattadeham punarjanmanaiti mameti kon. My dear Arjuna, any person who simply tries to understand about my transcendental birth or appearance and disappearance and activity, Janma karma. The personality of Godhead is not niskriya, without activities. So, anyone who can understand what kind of activities the Lord has and what kind of birth He accepts, simply by understanding these two things, one gets wonderful result. What is that? Tattadeham. By quitting this body, tattadeham punarjanmanaiti, he does not take any more birth in this material world. Tattadeham punarjanmanaiti. Some of us may think that punarjanmanaiti means he becomes vanquished. No, punarjanmanaiti, but mameti. He does not come to this material world, but he comes to me, mami. Mameti means then the Supreme Personality of Godhead has got his place, abode, where we can go simply by understanding the nature of his appearance and activity. So, today is that auspicious day, Janmashtami, when Lord Krishna appeared 5,000 years ago in India, Mathura. Those who are Indian ladies and gentlemen present, they know very well where is Mathura. It is about 90 miles south of New Delhi. The Mathura is still existing and it is eternally existing. The Krishna appeared in Mathura in his maternal uncle's house in a very precarious condition. That birthplace, Lord Krishna's birthplace, is now maintained very nicely. One who goes to India, they see. So anyway, Lord Krishna appeared on this planet 5,000 years ago. Now, Krishna says, Janma karma me divyam. Divyam means not ordinary. It should not be understood just like we take our birth. Krishna does not take his birth like us. That is also explained in the Bhagavad-gītā. When Arjuna inquired from Krishna, my dear Krishna, you are speaking that formerly you spoke this yoga system of Bhagavad-gītā to the sun god. That means it is millions and trillions years ago you spoke. How can I believe it? Because Krishna was contemporary to Arjuna, so he was thinking that Krishna is my friend, is my cousin, brother. How it is possible that he spoke this Bhagavad-gītā yoga to sun god? So what was the reply? The reply was this, that you also appeared many, many times, I also appeared many, many times. The difference is that I can remember, you cannot remember. That is the difference between God and ordinary living creature. That we are also taking birth after birth. There are 8,400,000 species of life, and so long we are in this material world, we are cycling around this birth after birth. So Krishna's birth is not like that. Therefore Krishna says, Janma karma me divyam, jujanati tattata. Tattata means in truth, not superficially, scientifically. One who knows, he can get immediately liberation. And how one can understand the same truth, that is also explained in the Bhagavad-gītā. Bhaktya mam abhijanati javan jaschami tattat. Again, the same thing, tattata, in truth. If anyone wants to know God or Krishna in truth, not superficial, then he has to undertake the process of devotion and service, bhaktya. In another place, Krishna says, patram puspam phalam toyam jumi bhaktya prajachyati. Any person who gives me a little fruit, little flower, little water, but with devotion, bhaktya, that is the only qualification. Krishna says, taya bhaktya upurikam asnami. Because he brings it with devotion and faith and love, I eat. Krishna eats. We are offering in the temple prasadam, so he eats. Because he says, I eat. How you can say that he does not eat? Some gentleman who asked me that Swamiji, you offer prasadam in the temple, but do you think Krishna or God eats? I answered, yes, why not? He says, I eat. How you can say he does not eat? But you do not know how he eats. Due to poor fund of knowledge, you think that God does not eat. But his eating process is different. That is answered in the Brahma Samhita. Brahma Samhita, it is said, Angani yassa sakalendriya vittimanti. God's senses, Krishna's senses are as powerful as other senses. Just like I can see with my eyes, but Krishna can eat also with his eyes. That is it. Angani jasa sakalendriya vittimanti. Just like there is many examples. Krishna or Vishnu, the first creation is that Garbhosai Vishnu lying on the ocean, and Brahma was created from his navel. There was a lotus stem grown from the abdomen of the Lord, and Brahma was born. Now Lakshmi, the goddess of fortune, was just sitting. But as we understand that if we beget child, we require the cooperation of wife. But here we see that wife was sitting, but he begot Brahma from the navel. This is called Sarvashaktiman. He does not require anyone's help. He can beget child, not exactly as we beget child. Therefore, Janma Karmam Medivyam. He is within your heart. He is everywhere. He can appear from everywhere. Just like sun rises from the eastern side, it does not mean that eastern side is the mother of sun. We simply see that sun is rising from the eastern side. In this way, if we try to understand in truth, then we can understand what is God. Superficially, if we try to understand by our experimental knowledge, then it is not possible to understand God. Panthastu koti satavassa sampragamya vayo rathapi manaso munipangavaanam sappastija pravadasim na avichintatate govindamadi purisam tamaham bhajami. The Brahma Samhita says that if one stops on the chariot of air and makes progress on the speed of mind, still one cannot understand what is God. Vedesu dullabha adurlabha bhakto. He cannot be understood simply by studying Vedas. Traigunna Visaya Veda Nistraigunna Bhavāja. One has to transcend the position of Vedas also, then one can understand what is God or what is Krishna. So that process is explained in the Bhagavad-gītā. Bhaktya mama vijanati janmashtami tattva. So, this bhakti, devotional service of Krishna is so nice, and under that bhakti category, this Janmashtami, of course, this Janmashtami ceremony is observed by all Hindus, irrespective of becoming Vaishnava or not. This ceremony is observed in India, every home, just like in your Western countries, the Christmas is observed in every home. Similarly, Janmashtami is observed in every home. Today is a great ceremonial day. Our program is at 12 o'clock night, the Lord will take birth and we shall receive him. And just now it is 10 o'clock. for 2 hours our program will continue in Kirtan. Kirtan means sometimes chanting with music and sometimes speaking. Both of them are Kirtan. Kirtati iti Kirtan. Whenever we glorify the Lord, that is called Kirtan. The Srimad Bhagavatam reading is also Kirtan. Abavad Vaiyasaki Kirtan. Vaiyasaki Sukadeva Goswami, he achieved the highest perfection, liberation, simply by reciting Srimad Bhagavatam. Sri Vishnu Sravane Parikshit Maharaj, he simply heard. There are 9 processes of devotional service. Savanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam Padasevanam. Chanting, hearing, first hearing, then chant. Without hearing, nobody can chant. Savanam Kirtanam, and what sort of Savanam Kirtanam? Vishnu, of Vishnu, not anything else. Savanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam Padasevanam Archanam Bandhanam Dasyam Sakham Atmanivedanam. These are 9 processes of devotional service, of which Savanam, hearing, is most important. Without hearing, nobody can understand the science of God. Therefore, the Vedic mantras are called Shruti. Shruti means it is to be heard. It is not to be experimented in the laboratory. It is simply to be heard. Therefore it is called Shruti. The Savanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam Padasevanam Archadam Bandhanam and Dasam Bandhanam, offering prayer. We also offer prayer. The other religious sect, just like the Christians, they offer prayer. The Mohammedans, they offer prayer. So prayer, offering prayer is also one of the items of bhakti. Chanting, hearing, meditating, offering prayers, archanam, worshipping the deity in the temple, all of them are together devotional service. So out of the 9, if you can execute all the 9, it is very good, but it is not possible. So even if you can execute one item, you become perfect. It is so nice. Sri Vishnu Savane Parikshit, just like Maharaj Parikshit, he simply executed the function of hearing. He got perfection. Similarly, Abavad Vaiyasaki Kirtane. Vaiyasaki means Sukadeva Goswami, he simply glorified the Lord. Prahlada Smarane. Prahlad Maharaj, he was simply meditating. There are many examples simply by following one principle of this devotional service. They got their highest perfection alive, liberation, back to home, back to Godhead. So we shall invite today to speak about Krishna from our students as well as from the members who are present here. So I shall request Janardhan to speak something about his realization of Krishna. All right, let him speak.
Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namine. Krishna, we know, is the ultimate supreme personality of Godhead. The name Krishna has a meaning. The meaning of the name Krishna is the supreme attractive. Whatever there is that holds any attraction, that attraction is given by Krishna. Krishna explains this himself in the Bhagavad-gītā. So, in our life, in this material world, we have so many different attractions that we are pursuing in order to build what we think will be our happiness. All this attraction is the attraction of Krishna's inferior energy. Krishna's Maya holds a great attraction for all the conditioned souls. And by following this attraction of Krishna's Maya, we are continuing in the circle of births and deaths. We are born into this world because we desire to enjoy something. So Krishna provides us with a body that is suitable for that enjoyment. And he provides us also the objects of the enjoyment that we desire. However, also to remind us of our highest possible potential, that of the spiritual, unconditioned existence, we have, along with these material enjoyments, various kinds of suffering. These material enjoyments, although they are temporarily real, come to an end, and then there is feeling of bereavement and regret. So we are now enjoying the Maya of Krishna's external potency in our ordinary life, unless we realize the personality of Krishna himself. We must have personal realization, personal contact with Lord Krishna. So long as we are enjoying these objects of our senses and thinking that these objects belong to us, and so long as we don't know to whom all these objects belong, to whom belongs the land, the money, the food that we eat, the clothes that we wear, our families, so long as we do not know to whom all these belong, then we are enjoying in a state of ignorance. Factually, we are being thieves. We cannot be happy in such a condition. Krishna is very kind. He provides us with all these objects of enjoyment as we like them. But we could achieve a far happier state, not only for ourselves, but for the whole humankind, if we realized that Krishna, who is the supreme source of all the attractive objects that we are enjoying, is a person who is ready to receive us as his loving servants the moment we want to surrender all our false ideas of ownership and come back to the spiritual platform. So Lord Krishna, for this reason, has appeared. He wants to call the conditioned souls back to Godhead. He wants us to realize that He is the source of the whole universe. He is the owner of the universe. He is the supreme enjoyer, the supreme knower of everything. And that we are always welcome to associate with Him by the grace of His devotees, by the grace of the spiritual master. And so He has appeared, and we are now celebrating the Janmashtami day. the day when Lord Krishna came to this conditioned plane out of his own transcendental power, with his full spiritual potency, in order to reveal his supreme nature of Satchit Ananda Vigraha, eternal knowledge, consciousness, and bliss, to all the conditioned souls, so that they might be attracted to him, and so that they might come out of the miseries of material existence and of ignorance. At this particular time in the world, it is very much necessary that all people hear about Krishna, and that they should become attracted to chanting the name of Krishna, to hearing about Krishna's wonderful pastimes, so that by this exquisite attraction for Krishna, they might forget their lower desires, which are now leading everybody to a hellish condition of life, in which it seems inevitable there are going to be wars and pestilences and starvation, diseases, all kinds of social injustice. All these things are unavoidable so long as the world at large does not understand who owns everything, who owns the land, who owns the money, who owns the food. So long as they don't understand that Krishna is the owner, enjoyer, and enjoyer of everything, so long as they don't understand that it is the highest enjoyment for the living soul to serve Krishna, it is a perfect harmony of his condition to serve Krishna, so long they will be fighting due to ignorant and deluded cross purposes. This International Society for Krishna Consciousness movement is meant for spreading the Krishna consciousness to the whole world, so that people might realize their spiritual existence, and so that the whole atmosphere of the world could become spiritualized with chanting the names of Krishna. So we welcome everybody who comes to this temple to inquire about how to make your life perfect by tuning in to the desires of the Supreme Lord Krishna. You'll find that this is such a pleasant proposition that all insignificant lower desires will be forgotten. There will not be any need for unnecessary fighting among the people of the world if they can only understand the spiritual plane of Krishna consciousness. The way to realize Krishna consciousness is very simple. Simply chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Chant this Mahamantra under the guidance of the spiritual master, and the results will be very quick. Thank you very much.
Golsanda.
Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnana Janslakaya Chaksurun Militanyena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. So this mantra is another form of obeisance to the spiritual master, and the meaning is that I, who is standing in darkness with my eyes sealed, now offer my obeisances unto my spiritual master, who has forced me to open my eyes. He's forced me to open my eyes with this torchlight of knowledge which he's bearing. So, therefore, my spiritual master is my master. He can give me the actual knowledge of my position as an existing entity. And that perfection of understanding my position is understanding Krishna, or the supremely perfect entity. Krishna is perfect existence, the perfect being. And as such, his existence is the greatest certainty of all. In one syllogism, or one comparison that I could give, I could say that how can a shadow of my hand exist unless my hand exists? The point is, how can these individual entities exist except as the shadow of the perfect entity God? Of course, we can understand from the Bhagavad-gītā or Vedic literatures that living entities are atomic particles of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and as such they reflect the potencies of that Supreme Person. So because Krishna has personality, and because Krishna has individuality, we have individuality. Krishna's existence, because he's perfect, is the most certain. Imperfect existence has no meaning. Our existence has no meaning except as reference, in reference to Krishna's existence. We haven't even got the power to conserve our own existence. Or in other words, we can't understand how we're existing. We can understand in some deluded manner that we're feeding our bodies and so on. We can have some sort of knowledge of ritual, but we don't actually know what we are and what the ritual is, why we're performing it. So getting beneath the actual ritual of daily life by this process of revealed or transcendental ritual taught by the spiritual master, then we can realize the real importance or the real striking features of our own existence. Again, I want to come back to this point. Krishna's existence is the most certain. Sometimes people have the idea that they can debate whether Krishna exists or not. They can do that as long as they want to close their own eyes or keep their own brains, their own minds clouded by so many extraneous factors. Actually, Krishna's existence is the most certain. We can go through many so-called proofs or logical proofs simply because that fact is already established. I might give one or two. We can understand in our mundane logic that if something exists, that there's some reason for its existence. And similarly, if something does not exist, that there's some reason for that. Just as we can say, well, something exists. For example, the harmonium exists because somebody has made that harmonium. Or a circle exists on the wall because somebody's drawn that circle on the wall. But on the other hand, a square circle does not exist because that existence would involve a contradiction, or that would be absurd. So, for anything which exists, there must be a reason. And for anything which does not exist, then there is a reason why it does not exist. Now, Krishna's existence, therefore, is most certain because any reason which could deny Krishna's existence is impossible to be found. Krishna means he is the all-inclusive entity. Therefore, any reason which could prevent Krishna's existence would have to be either external to his own divine nature or in his own nature. Now, nothing can be outside of Krishna's all-inclusiveness. Therefore, no external agent can prevent Krishna's existence. And it is again self-contradictory to attribute any imperfection to the perfect being. Therefore, the conclusion is that Krishna necessarily exists because no one can prevent his existence. By definition, God is the perfect entity. So, just as we've seen that existence of Krishna cannot be checked, and actually nobody can prove that Krishna does not exist, neither can they prevent him from existing. This is sort of an indirect way to prod you to think about the position that you're in now. People become very proud because they have some material opulence or material knowledge, and they tend to think that they are self-sufficient. But actually we're dependent upon so many things. For example, we are just taking it for granted that our bodies will remain unmutilated by various forces in nature, when actually at any moment the bodies could be totally destroyed. And even granted that our bodies will be with us for some time in operable condition, this field of our activities has many laws which we're dependent upon, just as the other day we were discussing the law of gravity. This idea of laws in nature necessarily implies the existence of the lawmaker. And this can be demonstrated very easily in many, many ways. We'll take the law of gravity again. If some object in nature which has no consciousness behaves in a regulated manner, then it's obvious that it's under the control of a law, if we call it a law. For example, if an apple drops from a tree, the apple is obeying the law of gravity. The apple does not know the law of gravity. Therefore, that law is being enforced by some superior entity. Now, in our dealings in society, people know laws, still they don't obey them. They have to be forced to obey the laws, and still people disobey the law. But the laws of nature are so perfectly enforced that nobody can disobey. Just a little thought will make this a little bit more clear to anyone. So there are twofold implications, namely law proceeds from lawmaker, law enforcement proceeds from law enforcer. Man has tried so hard to establish law and order. Law and order is already there in this existence which he's now facing. I think that we don't need to consider any more on these points just now. The main point, or the main information which we're considering now, is that by understanding Krishna's existence, understanding Krishna's appearance before the perception of ourselves, that we can terminate this material existence which we now face. This life we're now conscious of through these bodies which were born. Now these bodies were very small, and they've developed to impressive size. The bodies will dwindle and the bodies will be gone, ultimately lost. But all these living entities here in the room will go on existing. This process of birth and death we should understand, and we should especially understand how Krishna appears before us who are trapped by birth and death. If we understand that Krishna's appearance is not like ours, because he's perfect and because simply he's appearing for our benefit, then we may be able to reach out and grab hold of the lifeline that can of our own suicidal bogs. So anyway, everybody has been coming here knows that we're recommending simply associate with us, chant with us, and listen to the teachings of our spiritual master. Put questions to us, any questions. And at this point, I'd also like to invite questions. If there are any questions.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,